Welcome to my first ever, I guess, podcast with you all, but we're not podcasts, we're just staying on YouTube. I love my little YouTube family, and how could I leave you guys? Often you guys say that I talk so much, and I'm here to prove you right in that sense. I threw out the question out there, what do you want to know about World Relays? Little did I know, you want to know so much about World Relays. I had nearly 200 questions. I was like, whoa, wow. Thank you guys so much. I didn't realize you were all invested. The main questions that initially started rolling in, and probably are a big base of it, is what the hell I was taking before my 400. So I did mention that it was bicarb. It basically just masks the lactic acid that you get that's inevitable when you run a 400. What does it taste like? So let me tell you what it tastes like, guys. Just imagine off yogurt. Rank moldy yogurt. That is what it is, because it's the texture of the gel, which is very yogurty. I'm not a yogurt fan in the first place. And then you got the clumps, which is giving off that old milk kind of vibes. That just, to me, is gag central. And a lot of people don't prefer to take it like that. You can take tablets for your bicarb instead. People that take the gel form, it's a faster delivery system basically into your streams, I guess. If you do take the tablets, you have to take heaps and heaps of tablets depending on your weight. When I got told I was going to take bicarb, I was so scared that I was going to poop myself, alright? Because I have heard some major badass stories of people pooping themselves, and ugh. But I can tell you right now, I feel nothing at all. I don't even need to go to the bathroom. Please educate us non-athletes. What is lactic cough? Lactic cough is basically just a dry cough after you compete. So I get really dry throughout my throat. I just start coughing from it. I also suffer from asthma, so my throat does get pretty dry pretty quickly. So it just gets really itchy and irritated for a really long time after it's been irritated, I guess. So that's what lactic cough is. Now we're going to move into some team selection stuff. So I got a lot of that. When did you find out the teams? I found out that I was initially a traveling reserve when I was in Japan, and I just finished my race, and then I got the call, which was about 4 days before I had to leave to go to China. My initial thing was like, I won't race until somebody gets injured. So I just went over there just for the experience, really. As soon as I got there, they told me that I would be racing. They told me that I would be racing in the 4x4 mixed final, because we were pretty certain that we would make the final, which was a good guess. Obviously, it all depended on day one. So if they did not auto qualify, what would that look like? So we would have to reassess. But plan A was qualify straight away, and then I would run the final so that the girls had every best chance of having the best athletes in that 4x4 girls team, because the ultimate goal was to qualify all of our relay teams. I found out at 10 a.m. on race day that I was actually in the 4x4 women's team. I'd just been preparing myself for a 4x4 mixed, and little did I know I was running the women's team, which was a great shock. Actually took a little bit of me to process, but I think it was more excitement, because when I found out I was first, I was like, yes, let's go. Let's do this. How did you get selected to be in the relay team? What considerations are there? To be in an Australian 4x4 team or 4x1 team, they're both different criterias. They're both different, completely different. The 4x4, I'm just going to talk about that. Basically, you have to show your face at all of the camps, show that you're interested in actually participating in a 4x4, really. You have to show that you're for the team and you care for the team and you're going to do things for the team. And so I was rocking up to the relay camps. That's all I really did. How did you end up running the 4x400, considering you haven't even run the 400 throughout the season or in recent times? That kind of goes to the other point beforehand. So I was rocking up to all of the relay camps and I was participating in all of the relays. So every single 4x4 that was run of this season, I was in it. Did not run a flat 400, but I was splitting really well in all my 4x4s that I started with. So my first 4x4 that I started with actually this season was the qualification round to get into Zetapec, and I split so slow. It was like a 56 high, and I didn't want to race Zetapec. My coach said to me, well, if you don't believe that you're running 56 seconds, then show me that you're not a 56 second runner. And I was like, okay. And I absolutely sent it. And then I kind of held on a little bit more. I split a 52.9. And then I think the 4x4 people were like, hey, like, she could kind of run a 400, you know? From there, I was like, okay, I'm going to nominate myself for a 400 because why not? So with all of these things, you have to nominate yourself. And a little fun fact about this, actually, I have been nominating myself for a 400 in every single team that I've ever made. So I obviously haven't made any teams for a 400. I nominate myself always in a 1 and a 2 and a 4x1, but I always nominate myself for a 4x4 just in case. Do you know what I mean? Just in case they might need me. Because you cannot be picked unless you are nominated. So that is a little backstory to that, I guess. Now we're going to go into how to run a 400 and my mental prep for this, because guys, I don't really know too much about 400s, all right? I just go out there and run. And honestly, I think that ignorance in this kind of situation is total bliss. Not actually thinking too much is probably why I've been running so well in them, because a lot of people think and then they overthink, and then it's too much thinking, and then they completely do the wrong thing and do the opposite of what they were supposed to be doing because they've thought about it too much. I think that kind of worked to my asset. Can you walk us through the leg of your 4x4 at World Relays? What was your strategy? How did it unfold? Basically, what was my 400 game plan? When I found out that I was starting, instantly I felt so much more relaxed. Like, most people don't like to run first because it's a way slower leg, and you know, it's first. Like, ugh. For me, as a non-experienced 400 meter runner and how I like to run my 400s, and especially coming back from stall, I think that I needed something that was in my lane and pace-wise. So the 4x4 relay coach, obviously I talk to my own individual coach and we have our race plans and what to do, but the 4x4 coach, she was like to me, now the two on your outside, they're going to go out really, really hard. Don't get too excited. And I think knowing that they were going to go out really hard was beneficial for me going down the back straight, being like, don't go with them. I didn't go with them, and in hindsight, I was probably too slow. That's fine. We live and we learn. It was nice to know that they were going to go out fast, so my race plan was to have a nice, strong start, like a solid first 60. I can't really remember the back straight whatsoever. I was just in a zone. I was just in like a rhythm zone. I don't know how I got from point A to point B, but as soon as I hit the 200 meter mark, you're going too slow went through my head. Let's pick this up. So every little part around the bend, I started picking it up. By the time I came into the straight, all of a sudden I had heaps of energy. Let's go for this. You're running too slow. Catch her. Coming off that bend, I was thinking about my cone runs, lifting for my cones that my coach has been setting out for me in every single training session, basically. Enough said, really. Pass it to a really good pace, and I didn't die. And that was my main thing. I was really worried that I was going to die, and I didn't. Ooh, how did you mentally prepare before stepping onto the track, especially in something like World Relays where your race actually mattered to qualify? Mentally, I was low-key pooping myself at the start. I was worried that I was going to not let everyone down, because I don't believe that I would have done that. Some people are really good in relays and some people are not. And I would like to say that I am a real big lifter for relays, and I believe I always have. However, I knew that I wasn't skilled enough in the 400s, that I was worried that I would just get left because everybody else is really skilled. I think that's where I was kind of like, oh God, like, this is a world stage. Like, if I do stuff up, it's in front of so many people. It's like, people know. And that's, I think, what I was most worried about. But then it changed to complete excitement. Going through, mentally preparing, was being so excited to experience a 400 on a world stage, was being so excited to run against these insanely quick, insanely fit, awesome women, being excited to see what I can actually do. I'd seen comments before that was saying Mia shouldn't be in the team, etc., etc. I was excited to be like, no, I belong here. My mental preparation was excitement. I was consumed with like so much energy. How did you deal with the pressure of it all? I wasn't focused on that. I was focused on me. I was focused on me and my team and I. Let's talk nerves, individual race versus the relays. All right. Depends on what I'm running. If I'm running a 4x1, my nerves are completely the worst out of them all compared to everything else. Number one, 4x1s. They're scary, really nerve-wracking. Why? Because there's so many aspects that can go wrong. Number two, my individual. Again, so many aspects that can go wrong, but you have more control of that. You have control of those aspects. Number three is the 4x4. And I think that's why I was really enjoying them, because you can't really stuff up a baton pass. The only thing that you can kind of get nervous about is actually completing the 400. That's got really nothing to do with too much about anything. It's just you backing your training and you backing yourself. There's aspects of a 400 where you have the opportunity to make it up. You mess up your start, that's totally fine. You can come back from that. In a 200, you can't. In a 100, you can't. In a 4x1, you can't. How did you deal with running a race you didn't know you'd run? So obviously I found out late. I've been a part of this relay since I was 14, turning 15, I think it was. So nearly 10 years. So I've been a part of relays for a very long time, and it's never been me as 100% in the team. So I'm very used to, is she in, is she out, never knowing where I am or never knowing the position that I am. How do you smile at the start line knowing you're about to run a 400 and potentially perish? Well, that's a very good question. I think I do a little bit of too much smiling and too much laughing. That not smiling, A, makes me look very constipated, and B, it would actually probably freak me out even more if I wasn't smiling. Let's move into the 400 team. I got heaps of questions about this. I absolutely love how involved you guys got with the team. Like, that's so exciting to me. How did your team keep morale high during the competition, especially after the first day when you didn't succeed? Obviously, I wasn't a part of that first team that competed. The vibes were a little bit flat, but at the end of the day, I think that everybody knew that there was another chance and that we were good enough to make it to the next round. Once that new day ticks over, we don't think about what happened the day before. You just kind of move on. Is there a debriefing process to discuss what went well and areas for improvement? Before day one, yes. After day one, yes. After day two, no. Not really. I don't know if that's because it was like the whole event had finished, so like who really cares anymore? Like we'll probably assess it before we go to World Champs. But before day one, we watched heaps of videos of our past relays, of what relays did well, what relays didn't do well, the splits of all those people. Even though we qualified, I think that there's still a lot of things to unpack to be better. I mean, there's always room for improvement, and what that looks like, I don't know. How has this performance at World Relays compared to your team's previous relay experiences? Well, me personally, obviously this is my first time in this 4x4 team and I loved it and we did well. Basically that was our second fastest time in like 20 years or something like that. And we've had some really good relay runners for sure in the past. So a lot of people from like 10 years ago have now retired. So like, you know, your Annalise Rubies, your Caitlin Sargent-Jones, your Jess Schoolies, which are no longer in the team anymore. I think from Tokyo's Olympics, I think that heaps of people started moving into the 400s, and now the 4x4 relay program is starting to really benefit from that. So like all of the juniors now got their full 4 years of training under their belt and is now starting to run fast from that. Do you do any activities or traditions with your team to strengthen your bond and unity during the competition? So we do relay camps throughout the year to try and build that unity and build those bonds. Definitely new. We don't really play games per se. It's just like heaps of time spent with each other. That's kind of the bonding experience, I guess. You just spend heaps and heaps of time with each other. Aussies usually love going from the individual to a team event. Is the relays the same? You know, I love the relays. I've always loved the relays, and I also love running an individual event. I love both. What's your dream leg to run a 4x4? Recently, it's actually first. Why? Because it's like training, and I can go through the exact movements of training without being too overcomplicated. Because running a 4x4, chasing someone down, likewise being in the lead, getting chased down, can be kind of freaky. I've heard they've usually put experienced runners first. No offense, but why did they put you there? None taken. So they usually do say that the structure of the 400s is first leg is usually someone that knows their way around the 400s, because it can be quite daunting and a lot of people can go out really, really, really fast because the staggers are huge. So they usually try and find someone that's more experienced in the 400s that can pace themselves well to go first. And then second leg is usually someone that's really, really quick over 2, so that they can cut in really quickly and get to that 200 meter mark first, so that it can kind of set up everyone. If you get to the 200 meter mark first on the second leg, that means the person that's running third will be on the inside lane instead of having to run really wide at the end. And then third and fourth is just kind of like, I mean, you want like strong finishes at fourth or something like that. But why did they put me first? I think because I did nominate myself for first when I went to Sydney, and I think that the coaches could see that I was very confident in my abilities to run first. What is the feeling of the Australian team. Squad is stacked and is so young. Yes, so stacked, so young. I just turned 24. Pollard is 20. Amelia Rowe is 20. I think Pasquali's 20. Ali and Carla are 22. No, 23. So we're all fairly young. I plan to go to 2032 in Brisbane. That will make me the oldest of them. We've got a really young team that could potentially get us to the next 2 Olympics. Do you think Bella Pasquali would make the team? Yes. She ran really well at Nationals. She's run really well all season. She's a gun. She hurt her hamstring before the World Relays. The reason why I actually got brought in the first place was because she hurt her hamstring. I do not believe that I would have been there if she didn't, but she deserves that spot for sure. And it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future, because obviously someone's going to have to be taken out for her to be put back in. Who that is, I do not know. I'm not the coach. Will the teams change between now and World Champs? Yes, because obviously Pasquali needs to be brought in. Someone needs to go. Also depends on myself, Alana, Sarah Carly. So what happens at World Champs, if you qualify individually and not in 400 or not in 100, so you don't have to be named for the team to run. So if I qualify in a 200, I do not have to be named in the 4x4 team to run. So I can just be there and run. However, if I do not make the individual 200 and they want me in the 4x4, they have to name me in the 4x4 team, which takes away another spot. That's the same with the 4 hurdle girlies. So you got Sarah Carly, who's running really, really well at the moment. You also got Alana Jukic just in the 4 hurdles. So if they make it in the individuals for the 4 hurdles, they do not have to be named in the 4x4 relay, but can still run. So yes, the team could definitely change depending on a lot of factors. Initially, I couldn't believe they picked you for the main women's team. Prove me wrong. Well done, mate. Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you talk to the girls about training? Some yes, some no. Depends on who's your roommate, I guess, and where those conversations lead to. We do not sit there as a group and say, what have you done for the last year? How did you get to this point? I love this one. Gemma was so cute on the vlogs. What did you think about being on her vision board? It was an absolute honor. I still can't believe that I was even on there in the first place. Like, that just gets me excited, full stop. Have you shut down the ideas for 4x1s forever? No, I have not. I would definitely run a 4x1, but the program is really hard for me and my ability to be an individual athlete. I don't have the wiggle room to be able to qualify for my 200s individually outright if I am in a 4x1, which is kind of sad because I would love to still be in them, but that's just how the program is currently built now. That's why you'll see a lot of athletes that aren't in the relay program, like Sultana, Gout, myself, Jess Malat, like got all these fast runners that aren't in the relay program because it's not beneficial for them to be competitive on a world stage individually. You know, it's sad, but you know, it is what it is. If you could choose your position, what would you run? I feel like you would be a finisher. Thank you. I'm definitely taking that on. At the moment, I would like to start. Eventually in the future, I don't really mind where I am. I just want to be out there on the track. I would like to finish, but at the same time, no, I wouldn't. I'm just honored that you think that I would be a good finisher. I'll definitely take that. Why did they not put you in the 4x1 team when Mannix Power pulled out? Put my name down. I said that I can run, but I think maybe it came down to them not nominating me originally for a 4x1. I don't know. I can't really answer that question too well. Let's move on to some training. Alright. Training. Do you train for 400s? No, I don't. I really don't. I'm on a 1-2 program. I'm all about that speed right now. I'm all about that speed. I do like 1-300 / a 1-350 during the week. So if you want to classify that as 400 training, then yes. However, 1 rep, I don't think you can. So we'll just go with no. As a 1-2 sprinter, when you have a 4x400, do you change your training to the 400? No, I do not. I just kind of be training for my sprints, like 1s and 2s. I don't want to really change too much of that. Why did you decide to run the 400? I have no clue. I don't know. I just wanted to switch it up with something different. So I just wanted to attempt something new. That's basically it. And I just wanted to like dip my feet into the water, see if I'd be good at a 4 or not. You know, do I train for this or do I not? Because there's a lot of things to think about because the 400 is quite lethal and training for it is even worse. What's next for you after qualifying for World Champs? We've qualified for our 4x4 team for World Champs, yes. I still have to try and qualify individually. So what's next for me? I'm going to Europe, I'm going to be racing, and we're going to be trying to race fast. That's basically what it is. What was your highlight of the meet? My highlight of the meet was actually the last 100. I saw Ellie and it was like, go. And I've never felt that before in my life, and I loved it. I loved every single second of it, even though I was dying afterwards, but not that much. I loved it all. What was something you learned as a professional at World Relays? Something that I learned as a professional at World Relays is to not be so serious about it. When you go over there, I don't know if it's because it's a World Relays and not like an individual World Champs, but everyone was so chill. You just like roam around and there's like Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price and like there's Kashane Thompson, and they're just so chill. And they're doing their own thing and they're just like beating to their own drums and they're not focusing on anybody else. Do all the World Relays stay at the same hotel? Yes. So this is actually a really interesting one. So we actually had two major hotels. One hotel was filled with like Team Australia, Team USA, Team Canada. Who else did we have? Netherlands, heaps of other smaller countries. The other place had teams like Kenya, Great Britain. You stay in the same hotel with your team, basically. That way you can have your team meetings, you can have breakfast together, dinner together, etc., etc. How did you deal with the change of countries and getting out of routine and day activities and food? Very chill for me. Personally hate being on the plane, but I actually love traveling. I love trying new foods. You know, I'm not celiac, I don't have dairy issues, I don't have any sort of problem, so I can go everywhere and eat whatever I want and try new things. I'm lucky like that. It's very easy for me to adapt, and I'm also a really good sleeper. As soon as my head hits the pillow, I will be out like a light, so don't have to worry about me. What was it like to be in a stadium so packed? Oh, I loved it. Day one, there wasn't too many people in the crowd, only because it was absolutely pouring down with rain, and it was like the kind of rain that hurts your skin, so I understand why the crowd was not full. Day two, it was packed, and it was so awesome. I absolutely loved it. Day two was awesome. It was so electric, especially if you were in a race with Team China, because the crowd would just be extra, and it was so cool to feel that atmosphere. We're lucky that our race was with Team China, so that was really cool. It was a nice electric atmosphere. I loved it. They had like the banners and like the screaming whistles and all that kind of stuff. Loved it. Is there any smack talk between the athletes at the start line or in the call room? No, there's not. I can't speak for, obviously, males and females, completely different. Females wise, though, we had Team Ireland, Team China, Team Zimbabwe, I think it was. No, there's no smack talk. I think we all have a lot of admiration for each other in what we're doing and what we're about to do, and like a lot of people aren't going to be talking, unless you're close friends, of course, but you're not going to go up to someone that you've never met before and start saying, I'm going to beat you. That's just not how it works. Afterwards, it's a lot of love. What does it feel like to be around top athletes? Really good. You want to put your best self out there. I love that. You want to feel like you are putting your best version of yourself out there. I think that's the best way to grow as an athlete and as a person, is by putting yourself out there. What's something an average athlete doesn't realize about World Champs? Probably how chill it actually is. The coaches don't actually put pressure on you to perform. Probably think that once you hit the highest level, it is really intense, really hard. Like, it is hard. Don't get me wrong. It is hard. But they just think it's really intense that, like, most people will, like, be crippling with anxiety. Then once you get to the top level, you've felt that anxiety before. And now it's just fun. Obviously, people get anxiety all the time, but it's fun. Do you think you could run 2 back-to-back 400s at World Champs? Yes. Yes, I do think I could. It's obviously something that I have not A, trained for, and B, never done, in 10 years. Definitely a bit, the way that the World Championships structure, if I qualify in the 200 meters, is perfect for me. The 200s are on day 6, so I got plenty of time. Are you competing in Tokyo for the 200 as well, or only for the 4x4? Ideally, I'd like to go for both. I would love to go for a 4x4, and I would also like to go individually. Obviously, we don't find out both of those teams until really late. So there's 2 ways to qualify. Is one through the quota system, so you have to be ranked top 48 in the world, and I think I'm currently 27, I don't know. Don't quote me, they change all the time. However, there's 4 or 5 girls that could probably be in the quota system, so you never know what can happen. They only take 3. Option number 2, outright qualify. We have to run a huge PB. We have to run 22:57, I believe. So what are your goals? I want to make world champs. Easy. How do you video your warm-ups and races? Because I want to have a go for my first team. It's very hard. So I do all of this by myself. So I film everything by myself. I edit everything by myself. It's quite challenging depending on who is around. If I'm by myself, it's a lot easier. Obviously, you need to make sure that people are okay being in your shots. You need to make sure that people feel comfortable. You need to make sure that what you're filming is not going to affect your performance. If you are someone that doesn't like to talk during a warm-up or something like that, then I do not think that filming would be the best thing for you. If you are someone that is free-flowing and needs to chat in between, then yes, I'll go for it. How you would go from a 4 to an 8, you won't see me running an 8, I can tell you that right now. You barely even see me running a 4. I haven't even run a 4, so you ain't seen me in an 8. I've gotten way too many messages of people saying you'd be really good over an 8. A, why? And B, it's just not going to be happening. I can't run that far at all, and I don't even want to see myself try. When was your first big win? My first nationals win was in Perth in 2016, 9 years ago now, and I won the double. Other than you, who do you want to do well in track and field? Miss Na Aneng. I would love to see Miss Na Aneng do really well. I think that she deserves the world both on and off the track. If you don't know who Na is, she is last year's Australian national champ. She's had a huge battle road with injuries. She deserves a season of no injuries, and I would love to see her potential in that. She's actually like the biggest legend. How do you financially support yourself as a mature athlete? It's all me. I do it all myself. I work. That's why I run with tape on my shoes when I race, because I'm not sponsored. I call myself a professional hobbyer. They say what you put out there, then it comes back. And also, I don't do this for the money because I don't get any. I do it because I love it. You're not in this for a very long time at all. I know I'm going to be old and wrinkly for such a long period of my life. So I want to be able to say, this is how fast I could run. Look at all these cool places that I got to go to. Look at all these experiences that I got to do. I got to inspire somebody today. That is what keeps me in it, but obviously a little bit of money would go a long way. My favorite relay to run can include non-championship events. It would be the medley relay where it's 1, 3, 2, 4. That's my favorite relay, and I would like to run the 300 of that. Thank you. Let's bring that back. Or we would have such a good team, but a 4x2, I don't know how that works as you get faster, but when I did it as a young kid, I thought it was legendary. Is it like a mixture between a 4x1 and a 4x4 pass? What does that look like? I don't know, but I would love to try it. How tall am I? I am nearly 6 foot, but I am 5'11". 6 foot with shoes, but I'm 5'11". I'm so close, but yet so far away. I'm extremely tall in 100. I am tall in a 200, and I'm average height, if not short, in a 400. So it kind of goes up in height. My must-have item when flying, a portable charger. A biggest tip on getting faster, listen to your coach. If you're not willing and open to tell your coach genuinely everything in order to get better, you need to have a really good relationship with your coach, and you need to believe that your coach can get you there as well as yourself. PB for the 4, actually really slow. 54:08, nearly 10 years ago now. I did it in Thames and Lewis Manu's last race. Went out really fast, just held on for dear life, and I got a PB out of it and a Victorian record. I haven't really run a 400 since. Basically, since then, I developed really, really bad asthma, and I was struggling to even run 200 meters without dying. So I had to pull away from the 400s, and then I got all of my surgeries and stuff on my insides, and I actually physically couldn't train for a 400. I couldn't run for further than 150 meters. It should be better, but it's not. I just haven't had the opportunity to run a 400. How many relay battens could you run in a sub 70 400 without dropping any battens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe 3 and 3, 6. No, I wouldn't be able to run any under my arms because that would be I could put some in my pants. I'm going to say 9. And I think I'll be able to go a lot faster than 70. Are the relay battens different at World Championship meets compared to your local meets? Yes, very different. They're a lot they're a lot heavier. I think they put the chip of the timing into the baton that records like the splits and stuff. Way heavier than I thought and what I was expecting, for sure. Have you ever run really hard that you peed your pants? Because I have, and it was very embarrassing. I can't say that that's actually happened to me, but I know that it's happened to a lot of other athletes, and I know that it's actually very, very common. So don't feel too embarrassed. If I just ran a huge giant PB and I peed my pants, I'm totally cool with that. Don't ask me why. It's never happened to me before, maybe because I haven't run to my full potential yet. Is water aerobics good to do? I love water aerobics. Alrighty, well, that is about it. I got about 200 questions and I probably got through maybe nearly 100 of them. So thank you for being excited to hear from me, and hopefully this gave you a little bit more of an insight into, I guess, the relays and stuff. If you like this, then please let me know, because I eventually want to get people in here and we tell stories and stuff. So if you like this, then please give it a like, give it a subscribe, give it a comment. I want to hear your thoughts. I love you all. I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.